The censors! The censors are coming after us!
What did I do? What did I do?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Cryptids and Conspiracies. Sorry for the delay. I was trying to upload some clips, and it took me 10 minutes to upload one clip because Charter sucks. So anyway, I'm going to have to do logo tonight. So there's going to be plenty of delay. And yeah, so I'm a little pissy that all this work that I did earlier is not going to be able to be on the show tonight, but fortunately the other two say they have done some research, so maybe they can make up for the fact that my internet sucks. So all right, so let's bring them on. Let's start with this
If
guy.
it's no Scottish, it's crap.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. How you all doing?
Nice icon, nice icon.
Well, there's a very
Right.
specific reason for it. I'll get into that later.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me bring this guy on, might as well.
Sir,
Here we
nobody
go.
worries about upsetting a droid.
That's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
Wow, hey, it's great to relive the Spring Heel Jack episode. All
I
right,
know, it was-
let's go for it. I'm ready.
I saw that in the thing, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
What the hell? You're on
Well,
a
Abby
roll
won't
tonight.
be joining us because
No,
he's a
that's
loser.
right.
It is what
No,
it is.
he's actually
So-
traveling from Northern California back down to Southern California. So
Right.
Yeah,
So he's
all
still
right,
in California.
Fair
then.
enough.
yeah,
it-
he's
you know, okay.
across the
Oh,
communist
okay.
divide.
Get out of
Yeah.
there.
Out of
Yeah.
there. Out of there.
Deepest, darkest blue Africa,
Yeah.
basically.
Right.
yeah.
Hey,
Hello,
lovely
Sherry.
Sherry in the chat.
So,
How you doing, Sherry? Glad you're here.
all right. Hey, Sherry. Yeah, you're just gonna have to bring him up because my internet sucks balls.
We
Tonight.
gotta put
So,
together
well,
a
most
give
of the time.
send go for you to get a Starlink.
Yeah, well, that's why I just went with my
that's the
icon.
only way it's gonna
Finally.
happen, you know. It's the only way it's gonna happen, unfortunately. But anyway,
Yeah, I'm with you
so
there.
tonight we're gonna talk to. Yeah, so tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about the gargoyles. That statuary that if you find on top of most buildings beyond a certain age. You probably see more in Europe than you do here, but we do have some here. Go ahead.
Well, that was the funny thing. In one of the videos I was watching earlier, it was saying that they've made like water spouts, aka gargoyles, like Darth Vader and things like that, which was quite funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Scotland
that
that actually is actually an alien.
Yeah, I saw
movie
the picture of it.
Aliens.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's just architecturally speaking. If we're
Someone
talking about water
evidently
spouts,
slipped that in on them.
yeah.
The gargoyle. It's like Latin for the throat.
French.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
French.
What is it?
You get the same word, gargle.
Yeah, gargoyle.
Exactly.
Gargoyle or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a French word.
Yeah, I forget which one represents throat and the other one represents water. But
I don't know any French. I'm not volunteering to learn any. So.
Parlez-vous français?
Anyway.
Gargoyle, yeah. I think it's the French word gargoyle.
Yeah, I actually had a video on this, but unfortunately my internet sucks. So there is a story behind the gargoyle.
Right.
The gargoyle is actually the name of a dragon that was like messing with France, and evidently a priest shows up with a cross in one hand and a sword in the other. Decapitates the monster, and then takes its head and plants it on a church to ward off evil spirits or something.
Yeah, sometime
So
around the 1600s.
Like mythology
I think
behind it.
Early 600s, not 600s in France. Early 600s in France, and he slayed the La Gargoyle, whatever they call it, and dragged off.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty gruesome story.
Yeah,
it ain't fun.
I do believe that one of the conditions that he would come and slay the dragon was that they build the church there, because he felt that the town of Rouen was lacking God and things like that. That's why they did that.
Yeah,
and as you say, he slew the dragon and put the head up. And
ironically, Rouen is actually later where Joan of Arc led the charge and kind of found her glory. So
interesting.
Rouen is evidently all over French mythology and things like that. It's a very metal place. I mean, this like origin of gargoyles is very metal. I mean,
it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And now you know the reason for the dragon in my icon. So there you go.
Nice.
And that also, I suppose this kind of connects our video on dragons as well a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually Grigori, but okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
There we go.
It connects our video on dragons a wee bit, so that's kind of cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I see how it is.
Just so before we keep going, I want to just remind everybody that's watching on all 5 of our destinations here that in the YouTube chats on both Bunny's channel, which is the Rabbit Hole, and my channel, Wookie Fever Presents, if you're watching there, in the chats we have a poll. So we'd like for you to please participate and just participate in the poll. There's 4 answers to 1 question, so take your pick, and we'd appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Get to the polls.
Get to the polls and vote.
Do it now.
B-Dog, in the chat.
Hi,
Gargoyle, more drink. Yes.
So
Yes.
you said you did some research, Wookie.
Well, I think it sounds like pretty much close to what Cruel was talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the whole purpose. So going back to the gargoyles, on primarily it was churches, and it evolved into here in the United States anyway. I know that a lot of buildings and stuff like that, a Gothic style of buildings, a lot of in the turn of the century in the 1900s, early and late 1800s as well. They would incorporate, the Masons would incorporate gargoyles as part of the exterior aesthetic. The primary focus of the gargoyle was a water spout. It was a drainage from the rooftop of rain and stuff like that. So that's why the proper term gargoyle means that it's a pipe and there's a mouth and the water comes out. Now, if it's just a statue where there's no water pipe connected, it's called a grotesque.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get the name grotesque from. But so the figures or faces or something like that are on the buildings or the churches that have no connection to the water is a grotesque. But yeah, they're believed to ward off evil spirits, and it symbolizes mortality lessons. And
it's basically a downspout.
Yeah,
pretty much a rain spout or whatever you want to call it, or water spout. Yeah. I mean, basically, one of the videos that I was watching mentioned grotesques as well as gargoyles, and with the passage of time, how the word or phrase gargoyle pretty much has become the go-to term for both. Yeah. Just as it's become more modernized.
Right.
Yeah. And just like how they've transformed the word grotesque to mean something grotesque, ugly, creepy, whatever, horrendous. So, yeah.
But otherwise, a lot of it was originally
why do you think,
an architectural kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But where do you think somebody gets the idea of creating a creature that, bat wing creature, humanoid creature, with a hideous face, and yet everybody seems to have the same idea at the same time, and all across Europe and the rest of the world? Because in China, they had something called the foo dog that they did. They were basically their version of grotesques.
Yeah. I mean, there's gargoyles in Rome.
So I really find it curious when.
Yeah, so gargoyles in Rome. There was gargoyles, or probably still are, in Egypt, and I think in Greece as well. There's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they're pretty much there's some form of gargoyle or grotesque all around the world, in some form or another, in some term or another. So it's another one of those strange ones, which is pretty much everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of creeped into the architecture.
I get the whole architectural. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's creeped into the architecture throughout the world, basically, and in modern times. I mean, case in point, New York City probably has the most. In one city, has the most gargoyles or grotesques on buildings, versus most of the world. So, with a lot of the even the modern masons are doing carving, or when they're doing renovations or building new structures, uh, they'll incorporate some sort of gargoyle or grotesque on that outside feature. So usually it's where a transition is, where the building kind of, instead of it being this, the same all the way up, it'll go this far, so many floors, and then come in and then come in. Well, those transitions where they have that flat surface, that's where you're going to have your gargoyles on the 4 points or the corners of the building with the spout, supposedly. So
yeah.
Right.
It did say that a lot of work obviously went into creating these things. They would use the hand tools to make them. But when it came to mass producing gargoyles for different locations and so on, they did build molds for them to build them out of plaster and that kind of thing. Although there have been some that are made out of metal as well.
Yep. That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Well, also, I think it's really curious that that they seem to have kind of like on the roof of the New York City Hall, where they created this like blasphemous kind of cultish looking figure, and then it gets mysteriously destroyed by something that I just heard about this recently, that it got destroyed. Have you guys heard about that?
No,
I heard something got ripped down in front of a court building, but I haven't heard anything about it on top of a building anywhere.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it was on top of City Hall. It was this really like, it looked like Bale, a statue to Bale, and it was on City Hall in New York.
Was it on top of the building or out in front?
And it got like ripped down. It was on top of the building.
Oh, I saw a video where they had a statue that was out in front of the steps, and someone had decapitated it.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those Bale statues or something like that.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh well.
They were looking for
right
the culprits.
Because destroying a statue of the devil essentially is bad.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Well, I was just wondering, if it's a thing, if something didn't like it there or something. I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe their territory.
Something didn't like it there. Yeah.
Something did something. Yeah.
Liked it. Yeah. Well, it's on the subject of gargoyles. There's been a few really creepy horror movies over the decades. I mean, there was two really weird, I don't know if they're low budget or what, back in the early 70s. There was two gargoyle type movies. And I know there was something back in the 80s as well. Something came out in the 80s about gargoyles. Again, it was like a low budget or B movie type situation. But they obviously they like to have the horror movie. That's a character that is good for horror movies. Gargoyle.
Did you ever see Tales from the Dark Side, the movie? Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
No, I didn't. No.
There's a 3 little stories in that, and the third one has got James Remar and Ray Don Chong, and it's got basically like a huge gargoyle in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was one movie that I only saw the end of it, and it was like it was a strange movie, and I guess there was a guy married a chick that had a couple of kids from previous marriage and whatever, but at the end of the movie, he finds out that she's a freaking gargoyle and so are the kids. And
that sounds awfully like
he gets killed.
That sounds very much like the movie I'm on about. It's just his pal. What happens is his pal gets minced by the gargoyle in an alley, and he agrees to keep quiet and his life will be spared. And then he meets Ray Don Chong right afterwards, who is the gargoyle in human form.
Yeah.
And then he tells her about it, and then she kills him, and so on. So
Gee whiz.
Yeah, I've got that B-Dog on DVD.
There's also
somewhere.
Same movie. Yep.
Yeah, there's also the myth of the harpy that's similar to gargoyle, but they were supposed to be like turn things to stone. So yeah, that was also.
Yes.
I mean,
Good
the
old petrification.
winged creatures going back that turn to stone and things like that. That's been around for a long, long time, and then suddenly it starts showing up on top of cathedrals and things like that. And
I think I
get the whole water spout thing, but
I think as far as the church goes, and as far as like your Catholic church and stuff like that, I think they really in the Gothic. See that story of the Saint Romanos, who's the one that killed the gargoyle dragon in France in 1600s. Yeah, and so he did that in 1600s, and he mounted it on the either the door of the church or the top of the gate of the church or something. Well, it didn't catch on in architecture for another 500 years, maybe 600 years after that. And it was part and partial to the Gothic style of architecture, but it started with the church. And in my opinion, looking at everything that they put up, I mean, there's cathedrals that are just completely covered with gargoyles, grotesques, and every kind of other imaginable thing. I mean, they've got chimeras and freaking griffins and you name it. They've got it up there. They've got, all kinds of weird stuff. Now, in my opinion, it's there to scare the shit out of everybody. Don't mess around or God will mess you up and sick these creatures on you. That's, and back then, at that time, at the between 900 and 1300, 1200 freaking, that time period, there was a lot of stuff going on, and people were massively superstitious. And who did they turn to for guidance?
Right.
The church. And so,
well, that's all they had back then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That was their internet.
That was their propaganda sort of thing.
Yeah, their internet. Yep.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is though, even the as horrible as they look and even as scary as they look, there was like, it's kind of been a mixed bag, whether they're guardians or scary things,
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that's really fascinating about them is modern myth has kind of like made them good guys, and then when you look back, they were like either harbingers or warnings, but they always seem to like fall on the side of being. And I find that interesting. What do you think about that?
Well, some interpretations of the gargoyles and grotesques are that they're guardians, to basically ward off the devil. I don't know. In that the creature was slain by a saint, and it was a message: don't mess around with us, basically. And he slapped the head on the door of the church or the gate of the church as a warning. Don't come here, evil devil. Don't come here. You'll get slain. That's kind of in layman's terms, that's kind of what it was originally intended for. Was that part of the repel evil, also morality lessons. If you do evil stuff like this gargoyle did, you're gonna get your head chopped off, and God's gonna strike you down, and you're gonna it ain't good. And the thing is with the demonic style beings that are on there, they're kind of all over the gambit though too. There's humans. I mean, they've got other saints on some of these cathedrals in France. I mean, France is loaded with this stuff, especially all the very, very, very old, cathedrals in France that are still standing, that have these. They're so old that you can't even tell what creature it was anymore because the stone has just been weathered so much, and it's stone, and it's just been smooth. You can't even tell what it is.
Maybe bits falling off as well.
Well,
yeah,
it's like that Milton quote. It's like the Milton quote: "Abashed the devil stood and felt how awful goodness is."
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the idea of putting things up on the roof that would be to promote terror in the faces of evil and all of that. But why would you put demons up on the church to do that?
Well, it
the
could
saints,
fall.
The saints,
Well,
I get. The saints, I
right.
get.
Well, it could fall. It could fall in part of the symbolism being that it's sin and then salvation.
Possibly.
You have the saints as the salvation. Christ is the salvation.
Yeah.
The sins are the gargoyles, the grotesques, the chimeras, the actually funny thing is the chimera is an evil entity and the griffin is a good entity.
Right.
Because the griffin is a lion's body with an eagle's head and wings.
That's right, yeah.
And the chimera is 3 different animals.
That's true.
But the
Typically
chimera is
lion,
always depicted as as evil.
Lions. Chimeras are typically 3 different creatures. It could be a lion, a goat, and a snake, or something like that.
Yeah,
I think. Of thing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lion. It's kind of strange. It would be a lion, but
I've heard more of the goat type situation where it's like a goat or a horse or something like that. But
serpent tail kind of thing.
Yeah.
Serpent for a tail. That's
yeah.
Well, it's kind of like that part of that old school Christianity that our Christianity is kind of nerfed and fluffy and kind of like seekers friendly, and we don't want to scare people. We don't want to intimidate people. We don't want people to stay away because because they think we're mean or in any way, shape, or form, and all the edges are off, all the all the sharp edges are filed down. But once upon a time, the church was not afraid to be intimidating and scare the shit out of people.
No,
and
they were
gargoyles
not.
were part of that.
Yeah.
They were. I think like you said that back in the day.
Because when you see a gargoyle, what do you have to do? You have to look up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking of a little spin on it. Is it not prophesied that the church will fall? Am I right with that? That the church will fall? Could the gargoyles be a representation of that? Foreshadowing?
Yeah, Revelations talks about the church losing. Revelations talks about the church becoming kind of this amorphous mass that has lost its identity and has become kind of like so part of the world as to become indistinguishable from the world. And
So could the
we're
gargoyle
already seeing that happen.
We're seeing that happen. I mean,
could that be a representation of that then?
it's a possibility. I mean, anything's possible. I think,
Yeah.
like I said, though, I think the original intent was the symbolism of that, you know, in 1600, Saint Romanus in France destroyed a creature, killed it, cut its head off, mounted it on the door of the church as a symbol of sin and salvation. And they use sin and salvation together. Okay, like the yin and yang. It's you have the equal but opposite situation. You have a sinner, and the only way to, you know, for the sinner to be saved is to give up the sins and become saved and go a different direction, like completely 180. If you, that's why you had the fire and brimstone churches. I mean, you know, you're all sinners, you're all evil and no good, but you got to follow God. Okay, so
well, I grew up in the belt buckle of the Bible Belt, so
yeah, I bet you did.
I mean, I'm within like a driving distance of the people that handled snakes, so I'm well aware.
The snake handlers, yeah.
They preach hell hot and the heaven sweet, and sometimes the heaven sweet lasts about 5 minutes, and out of a 2-hour sermon, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been under that.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, gargoyles are kind of like the old school version of that. Yeah. Well,
it's to scare people.
They said the Protestant Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, Jonathan Edwards used to preach sermons. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm doing the best I can here. Give me a freaking break, dude. All right.
We love you, buddy. We're just giving
Jonathan Edwards, back the first like revival that happened in this country, Jonathan Edwards is kind of like pointed to as being the cause of it, and he used to preach a sermon called "Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God," and it was so terrifying to people that they would literally pull their feet up off the floor because they felt the fires of hell. So gargoyles are kind of like a throwback to that kind of Christianity, I think. Would you agree?
Yep.
I would say the gargoyles are rather warm and fuzzy compared to that sermon. It's kind of tame.
Oh, trust me. I had to memorize that damn thing.
Oh man.
There's like one part of it
where
he talks about
you go to hell and you die.
He talks about God holding sinners over the pits of hell like someone would hold a scurvy spider with disgust and ready to let it go at any time.
Yeah.
That's part of that sermon. So not exactly seeker
Yikes.
friendly back then. They just weren't.
No. Yeah.
I actually managed to upload one video, and this is supposedly of a actual gargoyle. You guys want to see it?
Cool. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's see this.
Esa onda. ¿Estás viendo eso? ¡Ay, puta! No jodas.
What the hell?
It's the one from Gremlins 2. It's finally stoned. It's finally unthawed.
It looked like it had freaking crab legs. with bat wings. What the hell was that thing?
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Where was that?
Your guess
What?
is as good
That
as
wasn't in
mine.
the States, was it?
Venezuela.
They weren't speaking English, were they?
All right.
No, it's
Oh, down
Venezuela.
there. Holy shit. There's probably
Venezuela.
who knows what that is.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
want me to play it again?
Yeah, play it
Yeah,
again.
go on. Let's see it again.
Maje, ¿qué es esa onda? ¿Estás viendo eso? ¡Ay, puta! No jodas.
Looked like it had little horns.
Maybe it
little
did.
horns. Like two little horns here, and it had something over here on its chin. Looked like a human type of a head.
Yeah,
The heck was that?
it's
thing?
interesting. Interesting thing. I wonder what
Well,
it
it's
was.
supposed to be a gargoyle, so
Maybe it was a
That might be.
spring-heeled jack.
Yeah. Well, there's some strange things in heaven and earth that are not dreamt in your philosophies, Horatio. So,
Tell you what, that's South America, so there's all kinds of weirdness down there.
Well, that's it.
They're
Yeah,
still
yeah, pretty
still
much.
discovering unknown
it's okay.
creatures.
Yeah, right. So we've come to kind of like the end of the show, where we take our votes, and when I say are the gargoyles good, let me kind of like lay it out. When we talk about gargoyles, we're talking about the mythology of the gargoyle, not if they're real or not, but
Yeah.
but are they a force for good? Were they intended as a force for good, or were they intended as a evil thing, or were they demonic, or were they supposed to scare people? Ultimately are gargoyles a good thing, or were they were meant for good, or were they meant for evil? Do you think that's a pretty good summation for a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
All righty.
Yeah.
Well, using those parameters, my vote is that they are a good thing. So what say you, Rookie?
Yeah, I'd have to go with that. The original mythos is basically that. They were evil and became good. Sin, salvation. They are, so they're protecting the church. So.
All right. What do you think, Carl?
Yeah, I would say that probably the original intent was to act as protection and scare people into going to the church. I guess it's around about that time. Whether that's accurate these days, I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't think I don't. Right. Well, what's your poll look like, Wookie?
I got 3 votes. I got 2 for confirmed and 1 for in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be someone, no doubt.
So, and I just
Okay.
ended it.
All right.
Right.
Checking mine out.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me check mine out. If it'll ever load.
Yeah.
Load it up.
That's the thing when things get a bit chock-a-block, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything slows. I got two.
Bee dog, Abby in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. More than likely. More than likely.
Yeah, Abby would be undecided.
Oh,
Oh,
we
right,
didn't get
of
that.
course.
Yeah, it was one in the middle and
Okay,
two confirmed.
there was a slight inaccuracy then.
A wee bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I had one vote, and it was for confirmed. So
Right.
looks like
Well, there
it's
you
going
go.
to be a confirmed tonight.
I guess so.
Well, the thing about mythology, and even something as like physically apparent as gargoyles are, ultimately, myth is kind of like the guardrails for humanity. There
Mhm.
are cautionary tales. They are, they are kind of like how we like see the world in good and bad, and they really offer kind of like a, kind of like in this case, like the case of the gargoyles. They were like visible reminders of an overarching like entity, and I think that they definitely served a purpose. That to me
Oh
it
yeah.
was positive, but it was certainly intimidating. What do you guys
Mhm.
think?
Yeah, definitely
Definitely.
intimidating.
Yeah, definitely intimidating. No question. But like I said, the original mythos of it is that it's the sin of the beast and the salvation of defeat of the beast, and then incorporating that beast into protecting the church. As a
Right.
protector of the church, as a warning or a protection
And
to
I mean,
evil. This is
I,
what
I,
will
I
happen to you.
guess you could
Yeah.
go into you could go really deep into the symbolism when you consider that it was a dragon that was slain, and Satan has often been referred to as the dragon too. So
Yes.
there's that element as well.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it harkens back to a time when Christianity had some sharp edges to it.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. Christianity had balls. let's let's not mince our words. The Christianity had balls. What was it? Was it Elon Musk
Just
that
a
said
little.
that Christianity's become toothless? Wasn't it? He's
Yeah.
right. Yes. In a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the most
Yeah.
In a
part, he's
way.
absolutely right.
In a way,
Uh,
because it
yeah.
doesn't defend its
Uh.
faith that well against
Yeah.
the crap that's going on.
Seems to buckle a hell of a lot more than anybody else
Hmm.
Right.
for whatever reason.
Well, how
I
many
hate to say that.
bad depictions of Jesus are there? Like Jesus in
Oh,
urinal and things like that. And
Yeah.
how many depictions, negative depictions of Muhammad are there?
Oh yeah.
lot
It's
less.
Give
A
it a
lot
try and
less.
see the riot get the whole town gets burned down.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a
So maybe
Christian.
Christians, should act like gargoyles.
I have a Christian friend that agrees with that sentiment about taking the Lord's name in vain, and nobody does it with Muhammad and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Well,
You see what they did to
you have
you see what they did to
essentially
guys?
Christian nations of Europe that are being overrun by Muslims
Yep.
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
Talk about a rabbit hole.
Maybe they need more gargoyles.
I guess.
Yeah.
So.
They need more gargoyles. That's right. They need more Joan of Arcs.
Maybe set them up at the beaches. That'll stop them landing. Anyway.
No shit.
All right, let me play right quick.
We have to, Well, I have to say that through this whole looking at this and reading about this and watching the videos, I have to say that there was no way any parkour were hurt.
No. I guess not.
No parkours were harmed in the making of this stream.
Yeah. The only thing that's going to get hurt is that microphone. Or
You're killing me!
You're slow, bunny.
Yeah, I was waiting to say the only thing getting hurt is your microphone and your face because you keep hitting it.
I know.
You keep nutting the microphone.
I know, right?
I've been slow all night, Wookie.
Trying to keep up appearances. This, don't hurt the parkours is what B-Dog says.
All right.
All righty.
All right.
Alrighty.
Thank you all for coming and putting up with my slow internet. Thank you guys for carrying the show tonight.
No worries.
I appreciate it.
No worries.
And maybe next week will be better. Will Abby be back next week?
He should be. He should be back home tomorrow sometime. Or tonight, late tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. So he'll be here.
right.
He should be here next weekend. Yeah.
So next week will be did this. Okay. So next weekend will be did the CIA kill Kiki Kim Marina?
All right, okay. We'll have a look at that then. Yeah. The CIA again.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah. I think this is based off of Narcos. The
right.
story in Narcos. This is actually
seen it.
happened, but I think it was like in the TV series Narcos.
Yeah.
I've not seen that.
Played by Michael
not seen
Perez,
that.
I believe.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
My
I
pal's
haven't
got
watched it either,
Narcos.
but
You said it was good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
well,
haven't
it gave
seen
us
it. Yeah, I've
Pedro
heard about it.
Pascal, but we'll have to overlook that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty good in The Mandalorian
besides
because he
that.
keeps wearing the helmet. As long as he keeps the helmet on.
I don't think he's even in the Mandalorian.
well,
All right.
yeah, that was always the.
So that's
rumor,
gonna be
wasn't it?
next week. Hopefully my
Nice.
internet will be better off next week. And we'll see. Thank you all for coming to Cryptids and Conspiracies, and
Yes, thank you.
we will see you next time.
Yep. Next
Catch
week.
you later, folks.
And
Have a good one.
Yes.
all right,
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
bye everybody. As soon as my internet kicks in and I can hear the screen.
Hit the button.
No.
All right.